Today we're going to be taking out these stock Troopy seats and replacing them with some brand new ones. Hopefully they're going to be a big improvement over the stock seats. So let's get started. So first things first, we got to take off the 4 bolts. So there should be 2 in the front and 2 on the back somewhere. And now they should, just come straight off. Nice and easy. She should just come straight out. So these are the Auto Technica, I think S2 seats. They're the heated versions. They've got the PU leather ones, which these are. The heated ones, non-heated ones, the cloth ones don't have lumbar support, and then the PU leather ones do. So you gotta make sure you sort of double check what you're actually buying. So the main reason why I went with these is they're about $1,200 for the 2 seats, and that's a lot better than some of the other ones you can get. And the main reason why I went with these ones is they look like just sort of your standard Land Cruiser seats. I didn't want anything that looked like it was out of a race car or a Ferrari. These are the cheapest new seats that I could find that didn't look like race seats. So I'm not expecting too much for them, but as long as they do have that back support, because the original Land Cruiser seats, it was getting a bit sore on the 40+ minute drives. So I'm hoping that these will just solve that problem. And hopefully they'll be a little bit more comfier. So before we put the new seats in, we need to butcher the old ones. So we need to get rid of these rails off the original one. And we don't need this no more. Chuck it on Facebook Marketplace. Now that we have the brackets, we need to get an adapter which does not come with them, because these seats are made for a few different cars. You do have to make sure you get the right size bracket. There are a right and left one. I'm not too sure what the difference is, but we definitely want to make sure we stick to right and left. And there we go. One rough seat put into place. Okay, now the next fun part is trying to attach it to this. I guess we just line up all 4 bolts and go for it. Alright, now she should be all good to go. Everything looks like they line up, so that's a good sign. Alright, that seems to work out. Jesus. Definitely got a bit of a lay down, so I guess that's good if you need a nap, but Jesus. Seems alright. Seems like it's on there pretty well. Slides back good. So it's been about a week. I ran into a problem where my passenger seat was actually a swivel seat. So that means I couldn't take the rails off the bottom of the seat. They're permanently attached with rivets. Couldn't even drill out the rivets because the rails were just still not compatible with this setup, nor any other setup apart from that seat. So if you do have a 78 series, just be mindful of that. If you got the single cab, shouldn't be a problem. Thing that sucks though is that none of that information was on the website nor on any of the instructions. So I needed to spend another $250 for these 2 seat brackets. So keep that in mind if you do have a Troopy and any other car. Just make sure you can actually unbolt the bottom rails. With that out the way, we can continue on and put the passenger seat in. Now with the second seat install, it's a little bit different, and it's mainly because of this little bracket right here. Now this bracket is here because the original seat was a 1.5 bench seat. Now it is a single one. So the rail bolts don't actually line up to anything in the floor. This rail here is bolted straight to the bracket, and then this bracket here is then bolted into the floor. Now, because there is such a distance, when you do hit some bumps, it does shake around. So it's been about 2 months later, and I've done about 3,000 kilometers with these seats in the car, and I'll just run through what I like and what I don't like. Now, the range of motion with these seats are really good. They pretty much go back horizontally and then pretty much as far forward as you would like. And the lumbar support is pretty good to have. With the insole, it was pretty straightforward. The instructions did come in black and white, which is standard, so you couldn't really get what was going on. So it did take me a while to figure out what was going on with that L bracket at the back. I had to sort of guess what bolts I had to use. It wasn't off to the greatest of starts with the front driver's seat. It already had a sort of a gash or a bit of a wear mark from the inside of the steel of the seats. So I'm not sure if that was from the manufacturing process or just shipping in general. The box itself didn't have any damage when I did receive it. Pretty much where these seats fail at. The lumbar support does help a tiny bit, but it nowhere near saves this seat. The foam that they used in these seats is just way too dense, and they're just, after about 10 minutes of driving, you already start to feel sore from these seats. I was hoping that they'll get a bit softer after a few hundred Ks, but it's been about 3,000 Ks and they're still just hard as a rock. Possibly they might need like 10,000 Ks to actually start to be a bit softer, but I reckon by that time, if you're anyone else, you'd probably want to grab these seats and just get rid of them completely. You won't last that long. For some reason, with these seats being in a Troopy, it feels like you're going to fall forward out of them. I can't really blame the actual manufacturer for this because they do make these seats for a bunch of other cars, so it could just be a bad side effect for being in a Troopy. The seat position might just be a little bit forward, so that's what gives you that forward feeling like you're going to slip out. I haven't come anywhere near slipping out of the seat, so in saying that though, it's more of a comfort thing. Simply, no, I don't think you should. Well, that's the tricky part. On one end of the scale, we've got seats that are $4,000, and then we got in the middle, seats that are worth $1,200, these seats. If I was able to go back in time, I probably still wouldn't go for the $4,000 seats. It's just too much money. I'd rather spend that on actually decking the back of the Troopy out and getting it ready to go camping. What I would do is I would go to the opposite end of the list, and that is to start scouring Facebook Marketplace or any other secondhand place. Now, you can actually find brand new Troopy seats off the newer model Land Cruisers for anywhere from $100 to $600, just depending on the condition and depending if someone really just wants to get rid of them really quickly. Because yes, they are the stock ones, but they are comfier than these and comfier than the original 2002 Troopy seats. I definitely recommend checking out Facebook Marketplace or any secondhand places before deciding to buy some new seats, because you can definitely find some real good bargains, and at this rate, a lot better quality than what I have in the car. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this helped you somehow, and I'll see you in the next one.